Hello, Reformed mythologist Nate Morgan Locke here with a myth about seed time and harvest. Demeter is the golden Greek goddess of the grain, an Olympian, daughter to Kronos and Rhea, sister to Zeus and Hades and all the others. And our story begins when Demeter's daughter, the delicate Persephone, is playing in a meadow with all her friends. They're making daisy chains when out from the dust explodes her double uncle Hades on a chariot with his coal-black horses. He snatches her up like a weed and Persephone screams as he descends to dark Tartarus. Demeter begins to search for her daughter and after 9 long tearful days can't locate her. Hecate, goddess of boundaries, appears on the 10th day to tell Demeter she heard Persephone's helpless cry as she crossed down into the underworld but didn't see who did the terrible deed. Demeter asks the sun god Helios if he saw, but he's unable to shed any light on the matter. Since she's getting nowhere on Mount Olympus, in grief, Demeter visits the mortals. She disguises herself as an old crone, sits down by a well near the town of Eleusis, and hires herself out as a nanny to a super-rich family. As part of the baby's bedtime routine, Demeter tries to make him immortal by holding him in a fire, which, because she's not really a nanny but an Olympian goddess, apparently works. But then the boy's mother rushes out to stop her because she thinks she is just a murderous nanny woman, and so, angry at the interruption, Demeter reveals herself to be the Greek divinity with specific oversight of plant life. The baby boy didn't get enough of the fire to become immortal and lies on the floor crying. But now Demeter's really angry because she's still very much grieving the loss of Persephone. Demeter becomes so sad that all the leaves are brown, and if she had the choice, the sky would be grey. Having withheld her goddess power over the germination process, refusing to let any plants grow, Demeter tells the mortals to build her a temple in Eleusis and establish a mystery religion where they will make sacrifices to her to see if they can cheer her up. It seems rather unlikely to make any difference though, since there is literally only one thing Demeter wants in this story, and it's not humans doing sacrifices and rituals and stuff. It might have something to do with Zeus and Hades letting her have her daughter back from the land of the dead. Anyway, now that all the human race might die because they've got nothing to eat, Zeus, the absolute scumbag father-uncle to Persephone, finally starts to sort things out. He tells Hermes to go down to Tartarus and ask Hades if Demeter can have Persephone back. Hermes obliges and Hades agrees, but not before he forces Persephone to take a bite of a pomegranate. As the chariots arrive back in the lands of light, there's a beautiful reunion of Demeter and her daughter, but apparently because of some underworld dietary regulations, if you eat down there you'll have to stay down there, Persephone must descend to the land of the dead during the winter months and every spring make her way back home to her mother. So what to make of it? Some believe the myth is an etiology, in which foolish old-timey humans try to explain the process of seed time and harvest using a story of the gods. But it's completely the other way around. In reality, God gave us the process of seed time and the harvest to teach us about himself. The one true God is really quite different from Demeter and Persephone, and totally opposite to Zeus. The truth of seed time and harvest has become jumbled up, and the true mythos, which has been played out in human history, makes a lot more sense of who God is, what the world is like, and how it relates to me and you. Suffice it to say, for the moment, Jesus talks a lot about seeds in his parables. There's one about a sower, there's another one about stages of germination, there's one about wheat and weeds. As the true God of the harvest, Jesus has quite a lot to say about it. But ultimately, while the seed-bearing mega-process has many applications in the Christian life, the Christian understanding of harvest is that it is telling the Christian message. Unless a seed dies, it remains only a single seed. But if it dies, it produces many seeds. Jesus is the dying seed, not Persephone. He is the first fruits from the dead. He does not have to return to Hades for a few months every year, but has been raised up forever. Seed time and harvest is teaching us the story of the seed of the woman. But that woman is Eve, the mother of the living, not Demeter, the golden goddess of the grain. Jesus is the promised son of Eve, who descends into the dust in death, only to rise up again to new victorious life. So what do you make of the myth of Demeter, Persephone and Hades? Leave your comments below and we'll include them in the follow-up video in which I'll go into more detail on how the Demeter myth is actually pointing us to Jesus. I've been Reformed mythologist Nate Morgan Locke. I'm glad you were here.